Well, hello everybody. Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, the person that's trained more successful service advisors than anybody else on the planet. Now let that sink in for a second because it's a fact. Hey, I'm back today with a new edition of my podcast entitled Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, the path to making over $100,000 a year when writing service in the automotive industry. And you know, at this very recording, just over 20% of you are doing just that. You're making $100,000 a year or more. But that means that nearly 80% of you are not. So what are we going to do about that? Well, I suggest you listen to this podcast, find my other podcasts. I've recorded over 100 of them. Listen to those, watch those. Go to my website, automotiveservicetraining.com, automotiveservicetraining.com, and you will find there all the tools, techniques, word tracks, and processes you need to become the absolute best service employee on the planet. I guarantee it. Now, today, what I'm going to do in the podcast, I'm going to answer your questions because, man, am I getting a lot of questions. I've never seen anything like it in my 35 years, like I have the last several months, the number of questions, the volume of questions that I'm getting through email, text, telephone calls, and the like. And so today I'm going to concentrate on 4 questions. And even though a lot of people ask these questions, we'll assign a name to them because, I like to do that. So let's just jump in. All right, the biggest question by far that I'm getting is one that Sal sent in. Sal from New Jersey, all right? And here's what he says. Jeff, there's a huge parts shortage. Everybody knows it. We're getting beaten up on the service drive daily. Our customers are angry. What can we do? What should we be doing? Well, that's a great question, and as you know, it is a problem. But here's what's on our side this time around, because in the past when there's been a parts shortage, it's usually because there's a strike somewhere or there's something that's self-inflicted in the auto industry, right? But this time, we've got the world backing us up. There's a shortage on everything. There's a shortage on parts. There's a shortage on cars. There's a shortage on baby formula. There's a shortage on toilet paper. There's a shortage on everything. Me and the wife recently went out, and I say recently over the last 9 months, to buy 2 major things: a new living room set for our formal living room and a new washer and dryer, because ours went out. Do you know on the washer and dryer it took 7 months to get the ones we want, and on the living room furniture it took the same amount of time, 6 or 7, I can't remember what it was, 6 or 7 months to get that furniture. Why? Because of all the shortages. So everybody knows these shortages are going on. Everybody's experiencing it in all aspects of their life. So we've got this on our side. I think the biggest secret, before I get into 3 things you should be doing, I think the biggest secret you can do is not act shaken up over it when somebody says it. Don't get defensive. Don't cower. Don't start, oh my God, what are we going to do? Don't panic, because when they see you panic, that's when they're going to eat you alive. So instead, you're going to be confident. Everybody, going into this knowing that everybody's experiencing shortages everywhere. So what's the things you do? 3 steps. A, be prepared. Know what you have in stock right now on the ground in your parts department. Now, if that means that you have to go walk through the parts department, that means you have to walk back first thing in the morning and talk to your parts manager and see what's going on. If that means you get online and you look at your parts inventory to see what you have, you need to know what you have in stock right now before you open up those garage doors. B, know what you can get and how fast you can get it. Okay, so you look at your parts report, you see there's different things that you don't have sitting on the shelf. Well, how quick can you get it? Can you get it, and how quick can you get it? All right, so again, that you're prepared. You want to be prepared for this customer, and you want to take a look at all your options. Now, I know there's a lot of car dealerships out there that pride themselves in only offering manufactured parts, manufactured by the manufacturer originally built the vehicle, like Chevy parts, Ford parts, Acura parts, BMW parts, and so on and so forth. But with what's going on right now in the backups, I would strongly encourage you, if you will, to use some aftermarket parts. Is there somebody out there that's got good quality aftermarket parts that you can bring in and at least offer to your customer? Now, when you do that, because again, I know so many people are against this on the car dealership side, you can simply just give your customer options. You call them up, for example, in the afternoon and say, look, here's what's going on with your vehicle, here's what we need to do, and here's how we're going to get it done, and here's what your investment's going to be. What do you think? They say yes. Okay, Mr. Customer, I'm glad you said yes, but I also need to inform you that the exact parts that we need, we don't have in stock from the factory, and it doesn't look like we will be getting them for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month. Okay, so if you want to wait for those parts, we can make that happen. We can assist you with that, but I wanted to, and if they say say yes, then there you go. They've agreed to wait 3 or 4 weeks, there you go. But if they say, wow, 3 or 4 weeks, I don't know if I can wait that long, well, you know what, Mr. Customer, we have a second option, and that would be to use non-factory parts. We've connected with the vendor that makes very high quality parts, and I can get my hands on those today, and here's what that would look like. Okay, so again, if you're a little bit shy about offering the aftermarket, offer the factory first, offer the timeline. If they buy it, good. If they don't, then offer the aftermarket. Now, some of you have no problem offering aftermarket parts, so you can just come out right out of the gate. Mr. Customer, now you've agreed to do everything we've talked about today. Let me tell you about our parts situation. I know that in the past we've always used factory designed and engineered parts on your vehicle, and that's what you like. If you want to do that today, a few of the parts that we need to get this done today, we do not have in stock, and it doesn't look like we'd be getting them for 2-3 weeks, maybe as long as a month. So if you're willing to wait that long for the factory parts, that's the situation there. If you feel you want to get this done sooner, we have started working with a vendor that we like that makes very high quality non-factory parts, and I can get my hands on those today, and here's what that would look like. So there's your two options there. So A, be prepared, know what you have. B, know what you can get, okay, and how fast you can get it, and maybe offer the aftermarket option. And then C, when you know there's going to be shortages, you want to tell them early, you want to tell them often, and you want to follow up. Now, when it comes to these parts shortages, everybody understands that there's a shortage, but what they do not understand is if you don't follow up with them and give them updates. Now, let me tell you what I'm talking about here. Going back to the washer and dryer set that we ordered and the furniture set. When it came to washer and dryer, we went in, we ordered it, they told us it was going to be 3 to 4 months, and we signed it, we knew that that's what the situation was going to be, and we were okay with that. So the third month comes around, we don't hear anybody. I said, don't panic, maybe it's going to, if we don't hear from anybody, I tell the wife, don't panic, maybe it's going to be another couple of weeks, we still don't hear anything. So finally we call them and say, look, we ordered this 3 or 4 months ago, you told us it would be here, what's it look like? And they said, oh, well, there's been a further backup, and it's going to be another 3 to 4 months. Now we're angry, okay? Now we're upset because as soon as they found that out, they should have called us. They should have called us anyway every couple of months and just said, hey, just checking in, let you know it's only been 2 months, we still got another few months to go. Or Mr. Cowan, just want to let you know I'm checking in. And we've had another glitch, and it looks like we're going to have to add a few months onto the original promise time. That's all they would have had to do. We're happy, right? Now, when it came to the furniture side of it, they kept in touch. They called us once every 30 days and said, just want to let you know, 30 days ago you ordered their furniture. We told you it'd be 6 or 7 months. It still looks like that's the time frame we're looking at. Just checking in, and they did that every month until we got the furniture. We were completely happy because we were informed. So tell them early, tell them often, and then follow up. And you're wondering, how do I tell them early? At the initial write-up. At the initial write-up, if you know and you sense that you're going to have somebody that's going to have an issue with a possible part shortage, or you know they're coming in for something and there's going to be an issue with the part shortage, tell them at the very initial write-up. Go out, introduce yourself to them, and immediately tell them this. You know, hey, Mr. Customer, my name is Jeff. Thank you for coming in today. I sincerely appreciate you giving me the opportunity to work with you. As you have over the last few years. As we get started here today, you're going to find everything's going to go the way it normally does, where I'm going to ask you a series of questions about why you're bringing the vehicle in. I'm going to walk around your car. We're going to do a visual inspection, everything we always do. But before I get started today, I wanted to let you know about a unique situation. As you know, there's shortages everywhere. There's shortages if you want to order washer and dryers. There's shortages on furniture. There's shortages on paper towels. There's shortages on baby formula. I mean, can you believe it? So I'm sure that you've been experiencing that in your life. I've been experiencing it in mine. The reason I bring it up right now today is because here at the dealership, here at the service center, we're experiencing the same thing. There's a big backlog on a lot of parts. Now, not every part, but a lot of parts. So as I'm going over with you today, what you're bringing the vehicle in and what it needs, I will let you know as we go along and throughout the day whether or not the part shortage is going to affect you and your ability to get your vehicle back in what type of time frame. So again, you want to tell them early, right out of the gate. You want to tell them often, and you want to tell them, you want to follow up. So when it comes to follow-up, there's nothing wrong with calling these people and saying, look, you were in last week. I know I told you it would be 2 weeks before the parts came in. We're still looking at that same time frame, just so you're prepared. I mean, there's nothing wrong with following up. Okay, so part shortage, A, be prepared, know what you have. B, know what you can get, maybe offer aftermarket parts. And then C, tell them early that there's a shortage, tell them often, and make sure you follow up. Kathy writes in with question number 2. Jeff, with gas prices so high, okay? How do you think that's going to affect us out here on the service drive? Do you think people are going to drive less? No, I do not. I do think it's going to affect you on the service drive, but I do not think they're going to drive less, and here's what I mean. Now, it may mean that you see this summer, maybe somebody was planning on taking a drive across the United States, cutting that out, but when it comes to the average driving, people have to do it. They have to go to work. They have to take the kids to school. They have to go to the doctor. They have to go to the grocery store. They have to live their lives. So it's going to have very little effect on the number of miles that somebody puts on their vehicle, and it's going to put very little effect on how much they need to come and see you. Where it is going to affect you, though, is when you're presenting your products, whether it's routine maintenance or repairs. The sell that you're making now is fuel efficiency. By offering this to you today, what it's going to allow your vehicle to do is remain fuel efficient, economically sound, so that way when you're driving the vehicle, you're not burning gas and fuel unnecessarily. So the only thing I can see different there is, again, it's going to be that you're selling more fuel efficiency than anything else. As a matter of fact, I can't think of too many situations where you would not bring that up when you're talking to them on the service drive in the morning and in the afternoon. You know, and another benefit to doing this today is I know everybody's concerned about the high fuel prices. Doesn't look like they're going to drop anytime soon. So, Mr. Customer, another great reason to get all these things done today. It allows you to have a car that's fuel efficient and economically sound, which is going to save you money at the pump. That will get you a lot of response. So I got two more questions that I want to go over here with you before we conclude today's podcast. But before we do, I have to do an ad. Now, the first thing I want to tell you about is a lot of you have been writing in and saying, hey, Jeff, when are you going to do some more workshops? We want to come to your workshops. Well, September 21st and 22nd, we're going to do a 2-day workshop. October 19th and 20th, we're going to do a 2-day workshop. Where are we going to do them at? Over in Las Vegas, Nevada, at our training center at the Lightspeed VT Training Center. Now, this training center is the most technologically advanced training center on the planet. I'm telling you here. I mean, the top 400 or 500 speakers in the world use Lightspeed VT in their training studios and centers and the whole like, and we're one of those people. I mean, this is a great place to go. It allows us to put on the absolute best workshops that we can, the most efficient ones we can, and here's the big bonus. I will be there, if you want to call that a bonus, and I am going to show you, as you're in the Lightspeed VT Training Center, in lazy boy chairs. Every chair in there is a lazy boy chair with a desk built into it. When you're there, I'm going to show you how to increase your hours per repair order. I'm going to show you how to get the highest effective labor rate you've ever seen, 92 to 95% immediately. I'm going to show you how to get the customer retention above 80-85% within 9 to 12 months. I'm going to show you how to get perfect and near perfect survey scores. And in this workshop, I will show you how to eliminate heat cases forever. Now, whenever I do a workshop, I always bring some new content because, like I like to brag about, I'm the only person in the marketplace that constantly updates their product and their content to make sure that you're getting all the tools, techniques, and processes you need to get the maximum results for the customer walking in the door today. And I'm going to do that in that workshop. So you've been asking, there you go. Again, September 21st and 22nd, October 19th and 20th. How do you get signed up? You dial 1-800-248-2931, 1-800-248-2931, and anybody that picks up that phone can help you get registered, or you can go to automotiveservicetraining.com, automotiveservicetraining.com, and you can get registered there. Now, something else I want to make you aware of, because some people have written in and said, boy, we didn't realize this is like this, and I'm going to tell you right now, these numbers I'm going to give you have increased. We'll update them here in a while. But I just want to go over this real quick. From January 1st to April 15th, let me tell you what's been going on here at Pro Talk. Over 500 people have attended one of my in-person, in-live workshops. They've come to the training room, watch me train. Over 500. And you know what? I'm getting ready to go to Carolina this weekend. We're going to add a couple hundred more to that number. 375 rooftops have started using my new online VT process since January 1st through October 15th. Nearly 4,000 people have started using my individuals have started using my virtual training since January 1st through April 15th. We've been on over 80 service drives, over 80 service drives during that time. 480 people have been trained live by my expert trainers on the drive from January 1st to April 15th. 210 managers have been trained by my expert trainers on the drive, live in person from January 1st through April 15th. You know, so I mean, and if you're wondering why so many people use our training and continue to use our training, it's because we've been in business for 35 years. You know, before I started doing this 35 years ago, nobody had any selling systems, no process to get survey scores and the like. You're looking at the original. And if you want the best, you got to work with the best. And we here at Pro Talk, we are the best. Okay, so let's get back to the message here at the podcast. So we've got 4 questions we're going over. We went over the first one by Sal from New Jersey. He wanted to know, how to handle the parts shortage. We discussed that. Kathy wrote in. She wanted to know how the high gas prices were going to affect the service drive. So we covered that. Then I did my ads. Now it's time for question number 3. Came in from Keith. And here's what Keith has to say. Keith, by the way, lives over in a really cool state, one of my favorite ones to visit, and that is Tennessee. All right, so Keith writes in, as many other people did, with the tough economy in general, how do you think this is going to affect How do you think this could affect our sales on the service drive? Well, it kind of goes along with what we said in question number 2 with the high gas prices. So that even though there's a tough economy, just like we learned in 2008 and just like we learned with COVID, service doesn't slow down. Now, why does it not slow down? Okay, the reason it doesn't slow down is because people still have to drive. They still have to go back and forth to work. They still have to go to the grocery store, get the kids to school, and all the other things they do in life. So what the tough economy is going to do is you're going to be selling, along with fuel efficiency and economy with the gas prices, you're going to be selling savings. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Customer living in this tough economy with inflation going through the roof and things getting higher and higher and higher in pricing every day, it becomes more and more important that you do your preventative maintenance, because by doing your preventative maintenance, what the basic game is there, you spend a little bit as you go, you invest a little bit as you go, or the car breaks down and you invest a whole lot when it totally breaks down. Okay, so Mr. Customer, by doing this repair this afternoon, it's going to allow us to not only repair the vehicle, but it's going to allow us to make sure the car is fuel efficient, economically sound, and it's going to save you money in the long run okay? So saving monies is going to be the big sell there, okay? It's selling efficiency and economy because the gas prices, if that seems to be the hot button overall, by doing what I'm asking you to do today, especially on the preventative maintenance, what you're selling there is savings. Okay, Mark writes in, from the great state of Massachusetts. Had a lot of people writing in, by the way, from Massachusetts. So Mark writes in and he says, do you see this economy changing people like COVID did? Now, Mark, believe it or not, a lot of people called in and asked that question because if you've been following me over the years, you know that I've always hit that hard. When 9/11 happened, it changed people, the way they bought, the way they thought of service, and what became important to them. 2008 comes along with the Great Recession. It changed people and how they looked at cars and how they looked at their cars and how they invested in them. COVID did the same things I've talked about many times. So to answer your question, do I think this economy is going to change people? No, not to the extent that those other 3 events did. Those other 3 events were major changes. For example, like we said with COVID, people went from, this was a major change. They went from looking at service and repair as being a necessary evil to being a necessary investment. And they became very excited about investing in their vehicle. They became very conscious of it and made them make sure that they had all the maintenance done and had all the repairs done, because their mindset is if everything else cuts out, like the air travel and public transportation with Uber and Lyft and taxis and buses and trains, I might have to depend on only my car. So the car became the most important thing. And like I've said the whole time since COVID has started over 2 years ago, I think this is going to be a 10-year run with that mindset. I do not think the economy is going to have that type of profound change on them. But what I do think you'll see is you are going to see a customer that comes in a little bit more edgy and a little bit more frustrated because things are getting expensive. So you have to be aware as a professional salesperson that when people come in for service on your service drive as a professional service advisor, if they seem a little bit more edgy, they seem a little bit more frustrated, it's because of the economy. And if you prepare for that, and if you're ready for that, and you accept that, and you have the skill to be able to talk them through that, you're going to be fine. So outside them being a little bit edgy on the money aspect, I don't think there's going to be much of a change there at this point. Now, I may change my opinion here in a few months depending on what happens, but right now, having seen situations like this before, I don't think there's going to be a profound change in your customers. I still think they're going to drive their cars. I still think they're going to come in. I still think they're going to spend and invest a lot of money in keeping their vehicles in shape with preventative maintenance and a lot lot of money on repair. I believe the average customer out there today, like I've reported several times since COVID, I think when we went into COVID, or I know when we went into COVID, the average time somebody was keeping a vehicle is 5 or 6 years. Coming out, we're seeing 7, 8 years. I wouldn't be surprised to see that go from 7 to 8, maybe 9 years. They know they're going to keep the vehicles a long time. They have to keep them road ready because nobody knows what's going to happen, right? And so I think you could be fine with that. Now, I just wanted to bring something up. I know I did an advertisement earlier, but one of the things that I was talking about is you have to be prepared for the customer, and I alluded to a couple different word tracks here and there. One of the things we have here that might help you out, at the risk of sounding like I'm doing an advertisement, is I've got a pocket guide here, and in this pocket guide, it gives you a lot of different scenarios. The way it's laid out is it gives you something that you might be presenting on the service drive. It gives you the selling opportunities, what you're looking for, the features of that product, the benefits. It will give you how to present it, and then after the presentation is in, that presentation is based on our 6-step benefit-based presentation. Then it will give you the possible objections, and on average there's 4 or 5 ways to handle the different objections to that service. So if you don't feel like you're prepared, there's over 90 different ways to ask for the money and 90 different word tracks in this little book. You can also invest in some of our other products as well, and we'll help you out. So we've got all the tools you need to handle all these problems, whether it's the parts shortage, or people coming with because of the gas prices, or the tough economy, or like. We've got everything we need. You need here to continue to be successful. This is a great time to be a service advisor. This is when your customers need you most, and you will be highly successful in earning the income you want, having the lifestyle you want, and having a career that you can go to work and be proud of, where you're not dealing with heat cases and disgruntled customers and the like, if you're prepared. And the way you get prepared is you train and you make sure you have all the tools necessary to be successful. I have every tool you need, I guarantee it. Okay, so call us. We're here to help you out and the like. So with that, this is Jeff Cowan telling you thank you for watching here today. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I'll be back next week with another one, and in between now and next week, here's what I want you to do. I got an assignment for you. I want you to look up, and I want you not to worry about what's going on in the world and the economy right now. I want you to worry about just being happy and enjoying life and enjoying every second of every minute of every day. You only get one shot at this thing, so next week, I'm not going to put anything else to it. Next week, I just want you to be successful, and I want you to be happy, and I want you to enjoy life, because between now and next week, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So again, Jeff Cowan signing off. God bless you all. I'll see you in about a week. Take care.